Hi everyone, hello, how are you? Good afternoon. I hope you stay safe and healthy this beautiful day. So, making emphasis in today's reading, so we were discussing the word of yesterday. Do you remember which one was the word, the yesterday words? Do you remember the word? Yes, I remember too. That word was groggy. Do you remember what is groggy? Groggy? So groggy is someone that feels sick or don't feel good. So, on that reason, when something is wrong with your body, with your head, you are happening a bad situation or you're wrong, you can feel groggy. Okay, just making emphasis in that word, you don't forget it. So, the word of today is sarcastic. You know what is sarcastic? When we are sarcastic and we don't know. So I will explain you this word today, what is sarcastic. Every day I will introduce a new word for you to learn this word. Let's go. Sarcastic must not teachable in a spoken word. Sarcasm is mainly distinguished by the inflection with which it is spoken. So when we're talking about someone that is sarcastic, we are talking that is somebody that wants to tell you something but not directly. And this person looked away to tell you this, but not directly. It says this for you, but in another words, and you need to catch it in your mind what that person is trying to tell you. That is sarcastic. So let's go now to the reading of today. Let's go continue learning about August. Do you know who was August? August was that peaceful guy, that wonderful guy, that amazing guy who has a big problem, and for that reason he didn't want to go to school. And he mentioned also why he was an special guy, why the mother tell him histories about his life, about how he born, things like that. It's really amazing. So, and today let's learn more about Jack, Will, Julian, and Charlotte. Do you know who are them? If you don't know, don't worry. I will let you know now who are they. So let's go, guys. So now, let's go. We follow Mr. Tushman. Do you know who is Mr. Tushman? Yes. Is that who is Mr. Tushman for you? According to what we were reading yesterday, Mr. Tushman, who was? Mr. Tushman was the director. Mr. Tushman was the person who is a person who follow, who manage the school, the principal. Yes, of course, he's the principal of the school. And so let's go into a small room across from Mrs. Garcia's desk. He was taking as he closed the door to his office and sat down being his big desk. Thought I wasn't really paying much attention to what he was saying. I was looking around at all the things on the desk, on his desk. Cool stuff, like a globe that floats on the air in a Rubik types. Cube made with little mirrors. I like his office a lot. I like that he there were all these neat little drawings and paintings by students on the walls, framed like they were important. So as we can see here, there was August in the office of Mr. Tushman. So and he was observing the glove, the things that this person has in the office, the principal, and I was looking all these things and the drawing that the students make that Mr. Tussman keep it and put it on the wall for I remember or for remind those students who really did that. So let's go. Mom sat down on a chair in front of Mr. Tushman's desk and even thought there was another chair right next to her. I decided to stand beside her. Why do you have your own room and Mr. G doesn't? I said. You mean, why do I have an office? Ask Mr. Tushman. You say she runs the place, I said. Oh, well, I was kind of kidding, Mr. Z is my assistant. So Mrs. D is the assistant of Mr. Tushman. Mr. Tushman is the director of the middle school. Mons explained to August. Do they call you Mr. T? Do they call you Mr. T? I asked, which made him smile. Mr. Tuba smiled at this question. Do you know who Mr. T is? He answered. I be the fool, he said, in a funny thought voice, like he was imitating someone. Ooh, that's amazing. See, this is becoming interesting at this time. So I have no idea what he was talking about. Anyway, no, said Mr. Tushman, shaking his head. No one calls me Mr. T. I thought I have a feeling. I'm called a lot to other things I don't know about. Let's face a name like mine, it's not easy to live. You know what I mean? Here I have to admit, I totally lied because I knew exactly what he meant. So he lied because he catch the sarcasm at that moment. Here I have my mom and dad and teacher called Miss Boot. I said, Aggie, said mom, but Mr. Tusman loud. No, now that's bad, Miss, said Mr. Tusman, shaking his head. I guess I shouldn't complain. Hey, so listen, August, here's what I thought we could do today. Ooh, this is amazing what they could do that day with August. Mr. Tusman tell him to August. Is that a pumpkin? I said, pointing to frame painting B Mr. Tusman's desk. Pointing to a frame painting B behind Mr. Tusman's desk. So there was a paint behind Mr. Tusman. So Aggie, sweet, don't interrupt, said Mom. You like it? Said Mr. Tusman, turning around and looking at the painting. So he turned around and he looked at the painting. Like that one, look. Mr. Tusman told him, do you like it, the painting? And he turned around. Yes. Do you like it? Yes, that is the painting. Turning around, looking at the painting. I do too. And he thought it was a pumpkin too. Until the student who gave it me explained that it's actually not a pumpkin. It is, are you ready for this? For a portrait of me? Now, August, I ask you, you really look that much like a pumpkin? No, I answered. So I was thinking, yes, something about the way his cheeks puff out when he smiled made him look like a jack-lantern. Just as I thought that, I occurred to me how funny that was. Checks Mr. Tushman, and I started laughing a little. I was start laughing because that thing that Mr. Husband, the explanation Mr. Tushman was saying. I shook my head and covered my mouth with my hands. Mr. Tushman smiled like he could read my mind. Mr. Tushman smiled. Mm, like And August thinks that Mr. Chusman was adivinating and was reading the mind of August. I was about to say something else, but then all of a sudden I heard other voices outside, the office kids' voices. I'm not exaggerating when I say this, but her literally start beating like I just ran the longest race in the world. And later, I had it inside just pro out of me, pro out of me. So the noise outside of the kids playing around, it makes feel bad to August because do you know August is a special person, and this noise make him feel something. Let's go. I was about to say something else, but then all of a sudden I heard other voices. The voices are very bad for him. The noise, the noise. The thing is, when I was little, I never minded meeting new kids because all the kids I met were really little too, like him. What's cool about really little kids is that they don't say stuff to try to hurt your feelings. That's the good thing when that kids are little. Do you know that kids are innocent? And for a reason, kids doesn't think when they want to say something. They try to be loyal, humble, and they are not able to hurt you with words because they are uh, help kids, healthy kids. Big kids talk. They know what they are saying. The big kids, the oldest, they think what they are going to say. And for this, August was scared about what the other kids can tell him. And he was scared about it. They know what they're saying, and that is definitely not fun for me. Big kids talk. They know what they are saying, and that is definitely not fun for me. One of the reasons I grow my hair long last year was I like how my bangs cover my eyes. It helps me block out the things I don't want to see. So we can see here that August had or has his long hair, and that reason he can't stop to see things. So he's a really special guy. Mr. Garcia knocked on the door and poked her head inside. They are here, Mr. Tushman, she said. Who's here? I said. He was surprised because he doesn't know who was there. So, thanks, said Mr. Tushman to Mr. Garcia. August, I thought it would be a good idea for you to meet some students who will be your homerooms this year. I figured they could take you around the school a bit, show you the lie and the land, so to speak. What Mr. Garcia and Mr. Tusman were trying to do is that can make the August can know people, can meet people, make new friends to interact with them, and they speak too. I don't want to meet anyone, I said to Moon. August doesn't want to know anyone to meet also. Mr. Chusman was suddenly right in front of me, his hand on my shoulders. He leaned down, and I said very softly in my ears, I'll be okay, August. These are nice kids. I promise. It will be okay. So they were giving him a confidence things, a confidence word that everything is gonna be okay and he don't need to be scared about it. Before she could say anything else, Mr. Tushman opened the door to his office. Come on in, kids, he said, and I watched two boys and a girl. None of them looked over at me or Mom. They stood by the door looking straight at Mr. Tushman like their lips independent on it. Thanks so much for coming, guys. Especially since school doesn't start until next month, said Mr. Tushman. I have a bad I have you had a good summer? So the school starts in a month. But Mr. Tushman calls this boy to get involved and to know August. All of them noted, but no one said anything. Great racer, Mr. Tushman. So, guys, I wanted you to meet August, who is going to be new student here this year. August, this guy had been a student at Bashir, Crip since kindergarten. Through, of course, they were in the lower school building, but they know all the ins and outs of the middle school program. And since you are all in the same homeroom, I thought it would be a nice if you got to know to each other a little before school start. Okay? So, Mr. Tulban wanted is that this guy make feel comfortable to August. So, because before August started school, they wanted to make him feel comfortable. Kids, this is August. August, this is Jack Will. They presented to each other. Jack will look at me and put out his hand. When I shook it. He kind of half a smile and said, "Hey," and looked down really fast. So, no, we don't know what's happening here. This is Julian, said Mr. Chisholm. "Hey," said Julian, and did the same exact thing as Jack will. Took my hand, forced a smile, forced a smile. The guys didn't want him to smile for him. And looked down fast. And Charlotte, said Mr. Chisholm, Charlotte had the blondest hair I've ever seen. So the long was really long. I didn't shake my hand, but give me a, a quick little wave and a smile. "Hi, Agus," said Charlotte. "Nice to meet you," she said. "Hi," I said, looking down. She was wearing big green Crocs. Charlotte is a very special girl. You can see, right? She's very nice. She's very sweetie. And Charlotte said, Mr. Chisholm, "Charlotte, no, so let's go right here, right here. So," said Mr. Chisholm, putting his hand together in a kind of slow clap. "What I thought you guys you could do this, take Agus on a little tour of the school. Maybe you could start on the third floor. That's where your homeroom class is going to be. Room 300 round one." So they carried to Agus to the third floor to know the homeroom where they are going to share that year of class. "I think Mrs. G is in room 301. Garcia called out from the other room. "Room 301? Mr. Tusman nodded, "and then you can show August the science labs and the computer room. They were your way down of the library and the performance space on the second floor. Take him to the cafeteria, of course." "Should we take him to the music room?" asked Julia. "To go to the music room." "Good idea, yes," said Mr. Tushman. "August, do you play an instrument?" "No," I said. It wasn't my favorite subject, on account of the fact I don't really have ears. Well, I do, but they don't exactly look like normal ears. So this wasn't the subject that August liked a lot because like he's saying over here like he's having some problems to hear with their ears. So well, you may enjoy seeing the music room anyway, say Mr. Tusman. We have a very nice selection of percussion instruments. August, you've been waiting to learn to play the drums. Mom said, trying to get me to look at her, but my eyes were covered by my bangs. Okay, the eyes were covered. As I stared at a piece of old gum that was stuck on the bottom of Mr. Tusman's desk. Great. Okay, so why don't you guys get going? So Mr. Tusman told them to go to explore the school and the classroom. So Mr. Tusman, just be back here in he looked at months. Half an hour, okay? Half an hour, just 30 minutes. So, is that okay with you, August? He asked me. Hmm. I didn't answer. It's that okay, August? My mom repeat. Look at her now. I look at her now. I wanted I wanted her to see how mad I was at her. But then I saw her face and just noted she seemed me more scared than I was. The other kids had started out the door, and I followed them. See you soon, guys, said Mom. Her voice sounded a little higher than normal. I didn't answer her. So, this will be the every single today. So, make a review about these characters. We can see that Julian, Charlotte, and also a Jack will were like those kids who are going to keep going to August. To don't be scared, but August is not feeling comfortable with this guy. So, but the August is going to know the school, to meet the school. He doesn't want it to be a school, but he must need to be. But the mother is trying to make an effort for him to go to school, to know new classmates, to make new friends, and to learn new things. This is amazing, guys, because sometimes we have this problem. So thank you guys so much. In a platform will be some questions. I was thinking they will be uploaded because we have been working a lot this week. Thank you so much for staying here. I hope you like a lot this story. And don't forget to practice the word of today, who is sarcastic. And then write down an example about what do you understand about sarcastic. Thank you guys so much. Take care. I love you. I don't know you, but I love you. I know that you are very nice kids. So thank you guys. Bye bye and take care. See you tomorrow.